Saturday hauling for you guys today, and I'm going to start off with some repurchases. Pixie was doing 20% off on their website, and I'm at the tail end of my last Glow Tonic to go. So I picked up 4 of them because there was a sale. And this should last me till January. I use this product morning and night every single day. The Pixie Glow Tonic itself is my go-to for toner. I've used the liquid with cotton rounds as well. These are just a little bit more convenient. There are 60 pre-soaked pads in each one of these, so again, they should last me till January. Just a all-time favorite product, as you guys know, because I haul them a lot. I also got a brow pencil from Morphe. I was just so enamored by the size of the point on this pencil. I typically use an ink pen, you know, with the whatever brow gel. I've been using the Ardell Original is my favorite for really spiking up the brows. But I wanted to try this because it was just so tiny. So it's the Nano Brow Pencil, 0.02 grams or 0.0007 ounces of product in here. And the shade that I got is Latte. So that is what the packaging looks like. This guy here is made in Korea. This pencil, today I went in with the pencil and filled in kind of my more sparse spots and then the spots where I want it to be a little bit more definitive. And then I just went over it with the Ardell brow glue, this guy right here, which I love, and that is what I've got in my brows today. But look at the size of this. It is so tiny, and you want to be careful when you use it not to put out too much product for obvious reasons, right? Because it's such a skinny pencil that it will break off. So I suppose I put about that much out at a time when I use it, and then I'll just swatch the color that I got. It is so tiny. So again, this is the Latte shade, and then there is a little spoolie on the other end as well. And it's just a really great super fine brow pencil that gives just those little fine like hairline strokes. So such a cool little product there. Again, that's the Morphe Nano Brow Pencil. Fenty also is doing 30% off on their website. So I picked up the new Set It Down Super Fine Blurring Setting Powder in the shade Strawberry Milk 02. I was pretty excited about the Strawberry Milk shade in particular. There's 15 grams or 0.42 ounces of product, and this is a talc-free powder. I have to say that this is one of the nicest talc-free powders that I've ever used. I kind of liken it to the Kosas powder, which is also a talc-free powder that's really nice, and both of the Kosas and this Fenty one have got a slight bit of luminosity to it. That's because they both have mica in it, and that's kind of the nature of that particular mineral. But it's so fine, it doesn't feel drying on the skin. It has a beautiful set to it. Really nice powder. Now, it does have that little bit of a shine to it. This is the same thing for the Kosas one for me. So if you've got a little bit of texture and you get a little oily there, it's going to look a little bit more textured with this powder as opposed to something like the Huda Beauty, which I'm obsessed with. That's probably my all-time favorite powder. That one does have talc in it, however. This is a nice product though. This is a super beautiful powder. So there is a little triangular sponge that comes in there. The packaging is really cool. It's a lot thinner than the original. From what I remember, I had the lilac shade originally, and I don't think it was this ultra fine. It was the original setting powder they came out with, and it was in a thicker kind of a tub. This packaging is really cool. So I've got powder in the lid because I did use it to set my face today, but it's got this nice little sifter kind of pattern in it, and then there's these little tabs on the side, and you turn them and you can close the sifter, which is really nice. And I like that I can easily just put some of this upside down from the jar into the lid to evenly coat my brush to set my face. I really like the packaging on this. So interestingly enough, this powder is pretty similar to Cupcake from Huda Beauty, which I do have out. So this is the Fenty one in Strawberry Milk right here. Let me get Huda. I depotted into an empty Kosas container the Huda powder because I'm not crazy about the newer packaging in the Huda powder. It's got that screen in it, which again I'm not crazy about. So here's the Fenty right here, and here is the Huda. So you can see the tones of them is pretty similar. I would say, as you can kind of see right there, that the Huda one is a little bit more opaque, but again, the tones are really similar. And I get a little bit more color when I use the Fenty one in my face. It's almost like the foundation or whatever shows up a little bit more colored when I use the Fenty one in comparison to the Huda one. Mica and silica are the first two ingredients of both the Kosas powder and this Fenty powder. And then there's coconut acid in this, which I thought was interesting because I've never seen a coconut acid in the ingredient list. And then there's also Salvia hispanica seed extract, sodium hyaluronate, Lucano radish root ferment filtrate. So it's got some like skin nourishing ingredients in here. I did notice too that I seem to be a little less oily when I usually like put some like powder through my T-zone from Oil Breakthrough. It's around noon, 1 o'clock. And I only had to use just a tiny bit of powder around my nose and kind of on my chin. So it does do a little bit of more oil control. However, it doesn't make my skin feel really dry. So far so good on this guy. And again, this is the new Set It Down Super Fine Blurring Setting Powder from Fenty Beauty right there in strawberry milk. There again, you can see the Huda cupcake next to the Fenty strawberry milk right there. And then I also, I got another one of the Gloss Bomb Sticks High Shimmer Gloss Stick in How Many Carats. I didn't tell you again where the powder was made. Kind of slack in there. Made in Korea. The Fenty powder is made in Korea. The balm, I believe, is as well. The Gloss Bomb Stick is also made in Korea. So this is my third one of these. I have got two more. I believe one's in my purse and I believe one's in like my sweater pocket or something. Neither one of them are in this room. So I really, really love this just to throw on. I don't have it on today, but I will swatch it for you guys. It is so easy to wear by itself with, or just with like a lip liner or whatever. Feels super nice on the lips. It's got this nice glossy texture to it. It lasts a really long time. I just really like these Gloss Bomb Sticks from Fenty. I've got several of them. This one, however, is the only one I've got multiples of because it's just so easy to wear. It's just so pretty. And then I hauled the Best Skin Ever concealer from Sephora. Was it last week? I think it was last week. Maybe it was the week before, but I'd mentioned how much I love this concealer and wanted to pick up a lighter shade for a little bit more brightness around the eyes, because the shade that I originally bought, the 03P shade, matches my skin tone perfectly, and sometimes I just like a little bit brighter around the eyes. So I did go ahead and pick up 01P. So this is the concealer I've got underneath my eyes today, and I did just use 01P by itself, so you can see it does have, you know, that brightness factor to it, but this has got great like skin caring ingredients in it. I would say it's got a medium buildable coverage, but it blends out so nice, and it almost feels like a serum-y concealer, like it's super hydrating. You can't detect it underneath the eyes. It's thin, even though it still covers. It just feels really, really nice. So that's why I did go ahead and pick up another shade of it. So let me swatch both of them so you can see them together. This one here is 01P, the new one that I just got, and what I have by itself underneath my eyes. And then the first one that I got is 03P. So this is a new concealer from Sephora. And let me tell you here where these are made as well. If I can see here. These are made in France. There's 5 milliliters or 0.16 fluid ounces of product in there. So again, here's 03P. These are both the pink undertone shades. And then I'll kind of do a little blend out for you. 01 and 03. These are just such beautiful concealers. I've really been enjoying using them. I think I've worn them every single day since I got them, with the exception of one day I knew I was going to be outside earlier in the day than I normally get out the door, and so I did use my CL SPF 50 concealer, which I love that concealer as well, and I love that SPF 50. So otherwise I've been really reaching for these guys here. I do wear sunglasses and stuff, but when I go outside and the sun is real high, I do like to reach for that SPF concealer, even though I wear sunglasses. So anyway, amazing concealers from the Sephora range. Again, this is the new Best Ever multi-use concealer right there in 01P and 03P. I was also trying to hold out till the Sephora sale to pick up the new Glow Recipe Prickly Pear Peptide Mucin, but I was in Sephora recently and I like put some on the back of my hand, and the texture of it was so divine. So I picked it up. So again, this is the Prickly Pear Peptide Mucin. It says bouncy, smooth, supple serum, 81% prickly pear, 3% bioactive peptide ectwan, which that Paula's Choice serum is ectwan in it as well, so that must be the new hotness. 3% peptide bioactive, 40 milliliter, 1.35 fluid ounce pump style bottle, and this has got a little sleeve on it, but I'm trying to see. I believe all these products are made in Korea. On the third page of the sticker on the bottom, it says made in Korea, which is what I thought, but that was kind of hard to find. So this is what the bottle looks like. It is a glass bottle with a pump style component to it. I've been using it every single night since I got it. I use 2 pumps, and it's one of those products that just soak up in my skin that I just love. So I've really been enjoying it. I originally read reviews on this, I believe it was on Sephora, and somebody said that it stunk. And so when I was in Sephora, I smelled it and I was like, oh, that's just what prickly pear smells like based off my experience with other products that have prickly pear in there. And then this is what 81% it said. So that's just what prickly pear smells like. So I've really been enjoying this serum. It's really, really nice. So it says 100% showed a clinical improvement in hydration and skin barrier strength. And I mean, my skin has been loving it. 93% agree skin looks bouncier and smoother. When I apply it, I guess my skin does quite feel like that. I want to move to using this morning and night. I've been using the Kosas one now in the morning, which I used to use morning and night before I got this one, and then this one at night. But maybe for a few days, I'll just use this one morning and night. I do want to use up the Kosas one before I strictly move to another one though, so a product don't sit. It's a whole thing. But anyway, well, this is the little sleevey thing. I've really been enjoying this product. So again, that's the Glow Recipe Prickly Pear Peptide Mucin Serum right there. I used to be on Glow Recipes PR, but I have not received anything from them for a while, so I must have got kicked out. And then Can't Stop, Won't Stop still with the blushes. I have a feeling it's only going to get worse as we get more into the holidays, but here we are. So Glossier came out with these new Cloud Paint Plush blushes. I got one of them in the shade Burst. So there's 0.21 ounces of product, or 6 grams, and these are made in Italy. So I got this kind of bright red one, and this particular red had an orange undertone to it, and for whatever reason, like, a lot of reds just, and it's probably because of my skin tone, but they just want to pull really pink on me unless I mix it with an orange, or actually just wear an orange if I really want an orange red on my cheeks. But I love a red blush to look a little bit more sunburned. Even though they do pull a little pink, I still get that red burnt look from them. But this one has got a little bit more orange in it compared to a lot of them, so I decided to pick it up. And I thought these were going to be like those spongy kind of ones, and it is, but it's more powder sponge than spongy sponge, or like putty, you know. And it doesn't take a lot of product. They're very, very pigmented. I've just been using it really lightly with a blush brush because they are very pigmented. They are so smooth. They blend out, like you can see just how little bit I had on my finger and like how far it goes. I want to pick up more of these. I've got the lilac pink one in my cart right now. They're just so like easy to use and pigmented, and they blend out so easy. So this is what I've got on my cheeks. It's a little bit more punchy looking in the camera than it actually looks, just because of the nature of the bright, you know, intense lights or whatever. I really like these blushes. They're very, very nice. So again, this is the Seamless Cheek Color Cloud Paint Blush in Burst right there. Packaging is a lightweight plastic with a click style component to it. Nothing super fancy there. I also picked up the new shade of the YSL Make Me Blush in Chili Crush number 15. This is their bold blurring blush. That is like super hard to say. 0.21 ounces of product, or 6 grams, and this one is made in Italy. So I've got several of these little YSL blushes. I really get along with them well. That's why I've got several of them. I love the packaging on these. They feel very luxe and nice. They've got a magnetic closure to them. This one here is a little bit more red than the Glossier one. Has got a little bit more of an orange red. This is a red. Very, very pigmented as well. A little bit goes a long way, as you can see there. Very intense, right? But very, very pretty. It's almost got a, like when you blend it out, especially in comparison to that glossy, it's almost got like this cherry red factor to it. But again, I really like these blushes from YSL. So again, this is the Make Me blush in number 15, the new one, Chili Crush right there, and then you can see it next to the Glossier as well. I also picked up the new YSL Couture Face Palette. This just launched. I've had it for just a few days. 0.95 ounces of product, or 27 grams. So you're getting a lot of product in here. And this guy here is made in Italy. So this is the box packaging. This is larger than you would originally think, seeing it in its first like pictures online. It's called Golden Oasis. The packaging is quite similar to the other kind, with that puffy kind of fabric YSL logo to it. It's got a nice weight to it. And then you've got 3 highlighters and 3 kind of blushes. The highlighters for me, they're not really my style of formula for a highlighter. So you've got these ones right here. There are some larger like sparkles in those 3 shades. And I can make these 2 work, primarily this one the most, but it's just not my style of highlighter, at least not at this time. You guys know I like that high shine translucent base to it. So what I've been using the highlighters for, and this one here I can actually get away with kind of just a blush. I'll pick up primarily this one and any of the 3 pigmented blush shades, and it just adds this nice like yellowy sparkle to those blushes. So that's kind of how I've been using it, is just kind of mixing between different shades, and I can use all 3 of the blush shades by themselves and they're all really pretty. There's only one matte shade in here, which is this one right here. The other 2 I would say are satin kind of shimmers, and then these ones here have got quite a bit of sparkle to them. So let's do these 3 highlight shades first. If you've tried the YSL, the new highlighters, I'd love to know your thoughts on them. I've heard kind of mixed reviews, and I was originally going to buy one, but then I was like, oh, I don't know. And if they're anything like this formula, I probably won't pick them up. This shade right here, from swatching it like with my finger, is kind of glazing over a little bit with hard pan already, so I'll have to take like a stiff brush or something over it to kind of remove that. But these are the 3 highlight shades right here in the palette. So as you can see, that one's got quite a bit more pigmentation than those other 2. And I do love a yellow blush, so that by itself is fun as well instead of a highlighter. And then here are the blush shades, which I love all 3 of the blush shades in here. They're very pretty. So those are the swatches right there of the Couture Face Palette Blush and Highlighter from YSL. It was something Oasis, right? The actual name isn't, both for the blushes and this, like the little round blushes, the name isn't on the packaging, it's only on the box. So it's called the Golden Oasis palette right there. And these are all more traditional style powder products, nothing special like bouncy or anything like that. So that is that guy right there. I also picked up the other 3 Hourglass Ambient Lighting Holiday Palettes. I originally had hauled the horse one that I purchased off of the Hourglass website because it was sold out on Sephora. So I've duplicated this color story, and when they came out, launched the palettes on Sephora, the other 3, this one never did come back into stock. So I am missing the Sephora exclusive color story that came in this horse palette. So I bought this packaging because I needed, it's got a horse on it. I had to have this packaging, so I'm glad that I got it off the Hourglass website. I just duplicated the color story in here, which is actually the color story that comes in the Fox packaging. So let me put the horse down because I did haul this one a few weeks ago, and again I'll re-swatch that same color story here in a minute. So these all have 0.04 ounces or 1.4 grams times 6 shades in them, and these palettes here are made in Italy, so you can customize these on the Hourglass website as well. Otherwise they're pre-made on other retailers. And this is what the box packaging looks like, as well as the actual packaging, which I will show you. I'm with everybody else. I love these palettes. And I hadn't pulled for one in a while until I seen that these were coming out, and then I reached for some of my ones that I have in my collection, and I was just really enjoying using them because they have just this soft veil, like blurring finish on the skin, whether it's the blush or a highlighter or the finishing powder. I used to exclusively use the Ethereal Light as a finishing powder for a really long time. I'd been through several full sizes of that, even though Girl on Meteorites is my all-time fave, the original, which they've changed the formula since then. I also still like that formula, but not as much as the original. That's a discussion for another day. So let me start off with the Fox palette here. I do have the little sticker on the cover of all of them. I just don't want them to get scratched because it is a tin, so if something were to kind of rub up on it, it would scratch. This one's got 1 highlighter, 3 blushes, a finishing powder, and a bronzer. So primarily for me, the highlighters are a little too dark and they're not quite like sparkly enough for my liking. So I love to use the highlighters with the blushes. And I also like to use the finishing powders depending on with other products in the palettes as well, which makes them super fun to use them like that because they're all right there. Again, this is the Fox palette. So at least I'll be able to swatch the 3 color stories for you guys, but not the Sephora exclusive. Anyone know where I could get that color story? Let me know. It's sold out. I don't know if it's going to come back into stock or not, but so you can see this is just too dark for me, but it's a really pretty like metallic gold, the highlighter, and then these 2 shades. The bronzers, I can get away with using every product in every single one of these palettes. So that one there is the Fox palette. And then next up we've got the Deer palette. There are 2 finishing powders, 1 bronzer, 1 highlighter, and 2 blushes in this one. I believe this is the lightest out of the bunch. The finishing powder formula is also fun if you just wanted to add a little bit of all over color to your face and you picked a certain shade. You can get a little bit of a veil of color as a finishing powder, you know. And then these 2 blushes, which are so pretty. Let me get a little more of this pink. I think you can kind of even see like the blurring kind of aspect of these products on my arm. But that guy right there is the Deer palette. And then lastly is the Swan palette. I've got the bronzer up in the corner on my face today out of this palette. I've been trying to use up the number 2 CL SPF stick because I do prefer the number 3. So I get a little less kind of contour with lighter CL. So I've been going in with like a bronzer just to kind of intensify contour on my face. And today I did use the bronzer in this palette. Kind of in the back of the cheeks, around my hairline, underneath my jaw, kind of a deal. So this one's got a finishing powder, 3 blushes, 1 highlighter, and then 1 bronzer. That's super highlighty. This one's borderline. I can get away with it, but I have to really kind of blend it out because it's got a little bit of an undercast to it for a highlighter. And then these 2. There's another one. I missed out on the Dragon palette. I don't know how, but and that's a different deal. I love these Hourglass palettes. So this one here is the Fox. And then you have got the Deer, yeah. And then the Swan palette. So there you can see them all together right there. What a pretty launch from Hourglass though. Very pretty. How pretty is that? I also picked up one of the new shades of the YSL Love Shine Candy Glazes. They came out with 2. I think it's part of the holiday collection because they kind of launched with the blush palette. But I got the shade 21 Shimmer Nude. I'm tempted to get the pink one too, but I didn't want it to be too mid-tone pink for me. I wanted to be able to just throw it on like something light, like the Fenty bomb that I just showed you guys. But this shade here, I originally when I looked at it I was like, gosh, that's probably just going to be a clear kind of balm on me, but it's not. It's got like this milky pink shimmer to it. It is what I've got on my lips today. I have it on with the Refi lip liner in Fawn. So I just lined my lips with Fawn and kind of brought it in a little bit, and then I went over it with this, and is so pretty. It's got this really beautiful milky look to it, and this has got a slight bit of that YSL kind of grapefruit scent to it, but it's not as strong as some that I've experienced in the past. And I actually bought 2 of the YSL Love Shines from last year because I absolutely loved this shade. I have again, I've got 2 of these, but this one here's got a little bit of a different feeling to it. It's got more viscosity to it. It's a little bit thicker formula, which makes it stay on the lips for a really long time, and it stays shiny for a really long time. And there's something about it that feels a little bit more hydrating than the one that I bought last year, which I still really like that one too. It's got this beautiful like pink purple iridescence to it. This one here, you can see how much of that I've used. Again, I purchased 2 of these last year, and I'm really leaning towards buying 2 of these ones as well. So this is the new kind of holiday limited edition packaging. And for whatever reason, this one clicks, and it also clicks back down. Very interesting. The other one doesn't do that. And it's soft, but it's a thicker formula. It doesn't feel slippy or thin on the lips like the YSL in oil balms like this did, you know. It's just more substantial, and I don't know, there's something about it that's just so pretty. I really thought it was just going to be a clear balm, but there's a milky pink sparkle to it that's just beautiful. So I'm probably gonna buy another one because it's so pretty and it feels really nice on the lips. It's got a slight bit of a tack to it, but not too bad. It's not like extra sticky. It's just like that, almost like lip mask stick to it, if you will. Just really, really lovely lip product from YSL. So this is the 21 shade. I may get the pink one as well. I love this formula. Again, this formula is different than this formula or the other YSL candy oil sticks and I've got several of those. This is different. This is thicker. This is more, I don't know, more substantial. Feels more hydrating too. So again, that's the new YSL Love Shine Candy Glaze in 21 Shimmer Nude right there. And then here's a little bit more of a close-up of the packaging. It is a click style, kind of brushed gold. And then I also placed an order on the Pat McGrath website because her holiday palette launched there first, and there was a little set with 2 blush sticks, cream blush sticks that I wanted to try as well. So I got the little set, and they came in this kind of zippy black bag together. So there are 3, I believe, sets of the Mini Divine cream blushes available. I got the one which is called Hyper Bloom. They're limited release, I think is what it says on here. So made in Italy. There's 0.11 ounces of product, or 3.2 grams times 2. And you are getting a pretty decent amount of product in these little guys. And you did save a decent amount of money as well buying them in this set with the palette. So this is the packaging, the box packaging. And then here are the blushes. So these have got nice pigmentation to them, but there's a little bit of that glazy feel to them, glazy balm feel mixed with a cream kind of a deal, if you will. And because they're so pigmented, they make them real easy to apply. But I find that taking a sponge and then going over like an unset face, like your foundation or whatever, it's a little bit harder to stick like that. So I found that using these with my finger yields the easiest color payoff without trying to like swipe it on your face and move around foundation or get too much product, you know. And they have this really nice kind of glowy, hydrating aspect to them that's quite pretty. So this one here is Fuchsia Fatale. There's a little stopper in there as well. These are both pretty bright shades. I think I got the brightest shade duo of the bunch. So again, that one is Fuchsia Fatale, and these are so creamy. I think that you could easily use them on your lips as well, kind of like a stainy type of effect. And then the other shade is Electric Bloom, and this one's got a little bit more of a red orange to it. So we'll just kind of blend them out. And I haven't tried any of the blush products from Pat McGrath in this formula before. So that one again is Electric Bloom, and that is the duo in Hyper Bloom. And then the eyeshadow palette is called the Gilded Nirvana Mega Eyeshadow Palette. There's a total of 8 grams or 0.28 ounces of product across 12 shades. So you are not getting a lot of product in here. And I was really surprised when I got this just how small it was. And I was even more surprised when I opened up the palette and seen how tiny the pans were. And I think it's 0.02-ish, 0.02 plus-ish amount of product per shade is what it averaged out to be. it's less than half per shade of last year's palette, which I'll show last year's palette next to it just so you can get an idea of the size, because pictures of it were real deceiving, at least for me. I was very surprised by how small this was. That being said, the shades in here are really nice. This is made in Italy. And there is only one, I would call it a satin matte. It's not like flat matte, and this shade down here. This one over here has got a matte base, but it's got sparkle in it. And these are the formulas that are poured inside of the casing. They're not individual pans of eyeshadow, which is the same as last year's. I believe this was last year's, which was also made in Italy. This is a beautiful palette. You're just getting so much more product. So real quick before I swatch the new one, just to show you size-wise the difference right there. And then you can actually compare color stories, because as you can see, there are some similar colors in the new one compared to last year's. That being said, the formulas are beautiful. I really like them. There's a ton of sparkle and shimmer in here, and I don't mind having sparkle and shimmer and no mattes at all. When I have used this, the 2 times that I used it, I did use this dark sparkly shade in the crease, blend it out with this and this one, and then use something sparkly underneath the brow. If I could change just one thing, it would be that there was one more kind of highlighty, brighter tone shade in there. This pink is it for me in here, but it doesn't have a ton of like brightness to it. So when I use this, I kind of come out with a real sparkly, sultry kind of a look to it. I don't mind it, but I did wish for something a little bit brighter. You know what I mean? I actually liked when I used this green on the inner portion of the lid, because it appeared brighter than the pink one did. So if I were to change anything about it, it would be that. I'm not mad that there aren't a ton of mattes in here or anything like that, but I do think that for the price especially, there could have been some more product in there, because again, that's not a lot of product, and this is a pretty expensive palette. The packaging is different, however. It's a hard plastic packaging, which I don't think she's done a holiday palette with this style packaging yet, and I've got them all, so it's a little bit of an upgrade because it's not cardboard, but so you can just see that pink shade. It doesn't have a lot of oomph to it, you know. It's fine for underneath the brow, but for like popping on the lid, for me, it's just a little flat. And then this center row. And this gold is nice and shiny, but it's like, you know, mid-tone deeper to it. And then this last row. I did really like the sparkly, sultry looks that I have done out of here, though. They are fun. And I've just been wearing everything with that Wet n Wild Villains dark navy blue sparkly eyeliner, which I've also got on today. And it looked great with this palette, too. So there are the swatches right there of the new Pat McGrath Gilded Nirvana Mega Eyeshadow Palette. I do like the packaging, being the plastic with the kind of artwork in there and stuff, but it is definitely much smaller and you are getting less product. And then I also picked up the new Makeup by Mario Ethereal Eyes Nature Eyeshadow Palette. So this has got 12 times 1.3 grams or 0.05 ounces of product per shade. So you are getting a nice amount of product in here. And this guy here is made in the USA. So this is what the packaging looks like. I like the little Love Mario detail on the box packaging. However, I would have loved it more if it was on the actual packaging, because all of his palettes like this are in the same white packaging. So for me, because I don't remember exactly, sometimes I need to like open them up, but it would have been fun like if this was like a hunter green color, right, or something, and then the one with the blues in it was like a blue packaging. Like, switch it up a little bit, you know what I mean? Or even if it said Love Mario on this actual packaging, that would have been nice as well. But in any event, it is that same style packaging as the other two 12 pounds that he's done like this, the larger kind of ones with the shimmers. He's got the all mattes and then these ones. And then there's a magnetic closure. So this is actually the palette that I've got on my eyes today. And it's really pretty. Like, there's nothing super revolutionary in here when I compare like some of the shimmer shades to some of the shimmers from past palettes. These ones are a little bit more smooth, like the sparkles are much more fine and they're not quite as gritty as some in the past palettes. However, they still remain quite sparkly on. Maybe not as sparkly as previous palettes, but they still have nice sparkle to them. And I really like the looks that I get out of here. Granted, for my bright, colorful personality, it is a little bit neutral for me, you know. So I do have this green on kind of on the center, the burgundy on the outer portion of the lid, and a bit of this yellow on the inner portion. And I guess out of all of the shades, this yellow shade is my least favorite because it's not as sparkly as the rest of them, and it kind of comes off in a little bit in like chunks. I don't know why that is, but I don't have any issues with the other ones. But the mattes are beautiful. And then this shade right here I've got underneath the brow, it's a matte base with some really fine sparkles in it. And when I seen that this was coming out, I actually pulled out, was it last year's palette with the blues, and had done a look this week with that palette, and that is such a nice palette. That's probably my favorite one. I think I have it right here. Let me grab it. It's the Moonlight one, this guy right here. This is so pretty. Since I've got them both, now you can see them together. Let's continue on with our swatching. Do this middle row here. And then this bottom row. I'm super grateful for these, or this deeper matte. Like, had this not been in there, I probably wouldn't have liked this as much, because you can see these are pretty light, soft kind of shades, you know. I think I would have liked a deep matte green. That would have been fun too, but the brown works. And together, it's a pretty palette. Like, I really like the looks that I get out of there. It's like they're nice and sultry, but they're very safe for me because I like to wear bright eyeshadow. And again, the formulas, like the shimmer shades, are a little bit softer in terms of texture and sparkle than previous years, but they're still pretty. And I wish this one had more sparkle to it, because that one is a bit soft, and I had to layer it up a decent amount just to get the amount of sparkle that's on the inner portion of my lid right there, you know. But so again, this is the new Makeup by Mario Ethereal Eyes Nature eyeshadow palette, and I think they're referring to it as nature because there's this one semi-green color that's in it. And that's everything that I got and that I purchased this week. I did get in some great PR packages. This first one, I was one day short, but I wore it last week. I couldn't talk about it in that video, and I hadn't realized that till after the fact. But it is available now. It is the Fantasy Cosmetica and Baddie Bean collaboration palette. It's called the Witch's Familiar. I love the packaging. There is a cat on there. There was a sleeve that came on here that mimicked the actual palette too, but I cannot seem to find it. But it looks just like this. So this is available now. It launched on October 1st and it's $49.99. So this is the little card that came in there. Again, this is the palette that I was wearing in the last week's video. So love the packaging. It's a cardboard with a magnetic closure to it, and then you've got a mirror in there, and then you've got this really bright color story. So again, that's what I was wearing in last week's video. I did bring in a matte for underneath the brow, if I'm not mistaken, but Fantasy Cosmetica comes out with some super pretty, vibrant, pigmented palettes. So let's kind of go downwards so we get the shades together. And this is a collaboration with Baddie Bean here on YouTube as well. You'll definitely be able to see the pigment differentiation between this and like the Makeup by Mario. But even like, you see how pigmented these are. Look how smooth they are. And then these guys. And those mattes, for being as pigmented as they are, they blend out so nice because they're so smooth. And then these last four here. So very, very pigmented, vibrant, fun Halloween color story there. And again, if you want to see this palette on, I wore it in last week's video. And these are also magnetized as well, which is nice because you can pull them out and put them in either other Fantasy Cosmetica palettes or also like just an empty magnetic palette, you know. I do love when brands do that. So I think I forgot to say there are 12 shades, 1.5 grams or 0.05 ounces each, so a nice amount of product. Made in China, not tested on animals, and vegan is what it says on the back right here. Super fun. You guys know I love cats. I've got a few. And a huge thank you to Fantasy Cosmetica and congratulations to Batty Bean on the launch of the Witch's Familiar eyeshadow palette right there. I also got a PR package from Peach and Lily. They sent over their Glass Skin Ginseng Collagen Mask. They sent over 3 of them. This is going to come in real handy getting into the colder months. There's just something I just like about the feeling of like masks in this packaging. It's almost like you can feel the squish, and that's what I want my skin to feel like after I use it. But there's a little card inside of here, and it says super concentrated, deeply hydrating, 55,000 ppm vegan collagen complex, super soaked, a full 40-gram serum bottle in each mask. That's a lot. That is a lot of serum. Super premium 2% ginseng extract and coveted K-Beauty active, super potent 25 plus skin transforming ingredients, 100% worry-free, highest standard of clean, made without PEGs or EDTAs typically found in other collagen masks. Real glass skin, no acrylates, film formers, or artificial gloss, just real results. So I am excited about these guys right here. You guys know I like Peach and Lily products quite a bit. Their Glass Veil Skin Mist, I've been through so many of those. So I'm excited to try these. These are like a weekend deal for me. Had I thought of it, I would have used one this morning. It's Saturday morning and it's cold outside. But tomorrow's another day, however. So a huge thank you to Peach and Lily for sending over their Glass Skin Ginseng Collagen Masks. That is a lot of serum. Illuminate, refine, pores, firm, hydrate, and nourish. I also got in a package from Wonder Skin. They came out with new shades of their lip liners. It says statement shades, coconut, walnut, mauve, and mahogany. Guarantees smudge-proof, waterproof, transfer-proof color within 60 seconds for up to 6 hours of creamy, smooth glide, jojoba infused even pigment. And I can attest that these are a long-wearing formula, but they're not so long-wearing that they leave like a rim around my mouth. That's how I've found them to be thus far. Like I put a lipstick and I always like to run lipstick over the liner. So they do fade out pretty decently. Now these shades are quite dark for me, so I try to use them a little bit lightly and really blend a lipstick into them. So these have got 0.042 ounces or 1.2 grams of product, and they are made in the USA. I do like that the colors are on the ends as well, so you can see which one that you're grabbing for. And then these are a sharpening style pencil. So this one here is a fun shade. It's called Cocoa, and it's got a really cool tone to it. I just seen Anastasia Beverly Hills came out with a lip pencil with it's a cool ashy tone like this as well. So I think it might be the new thing because the shades like this are quite hard to find. And then we have got the shade Mahogany right here. So this one's Mahogany. It's a kind of berry red. And then we have got the shade Walnut, which is a warm brown. So there is Walnut. And then the last shade is the shade Mauve, which is a mauve color. Oh, it kind of went right over my wrist bone. So there's Mauve right there. And a huge thank you to Wonder Skin as well for sending over their new shades of the Contour 360 Contour Lip Liners right there. And then lastly, I got in a PR package from Pixi. They sent over this tin with their new lip blushes. It says our 2-in-1 lip liner and stain in a precision marker pen designed to define, fill, and tint with a smudge-proof, feather-light flush of buildable color. Water-based formula blends lip care and color, leaving lips smooth, hydrated, and softly tinted. Panthenol, vitamin E, and humectants inside of the product. So these are fun. because the tint on all of them, you can actually see a difference in them. However, there's a pink kind of stain in every single one of them, but they're all a different tone, if that makes any sense. So that makes them really fun. So there are 5 shades, 0.08 ounces or 2.5 grams in each one, and these guys here are made in Korea. So this is what the box packaging looks like, and they're all marker style. Depending on the shade, I can line with these and leave it, and then you can just like throw on like clear lip balm throughout the day and you'll always have some color to your lips. Or either I'll like fill in and line with one of these and then just lightly go over it with a lip liner for extra definition, and that also looks really nice. I just like that you can see like the different colors in each one of these, which isn't the same for all like lip stains, and the product actually comes out really well. When I was in Sephora the other day, I think it was Huda maybe, I think it was. They had some new lip liner stains out and I was really excited to swatch them because I love that idea. And like no product would come out. And so I tried like each one of them and there was hardly anything. So I don't know if they were out too long and they were dry or what. But this first shade from Pixi here is the shade Beauty. So that one is Beauty. It's just such a pretty like corally strawberry pink color. I just love how you can see the vibrancy in this thin like stain, you know. And then we've got the shade Love. Same thing, how pretty. And I also like that you can see the color on the packaging of each one of these as well. So that one there is Love. And then we've got the shade Purity right here. So that one is Purity. It's a really pretty nude. Like you can actually see like nude in it, you know. And then we have got the shade Youth, which is a vibrant baby pink color. So that one is the shade Youth right there. And then the last one is the shade Happiness, which is a berry pink. Those are some vibrant lip stains. These are super cool. Again, these are the new Pixi lip blushes right here. And what pretty colors. There's almost like, it's strange. There's almost an opacity to it. But like if you were to feel this, you can see there's no product. Like it just feels like skin. That's how thin they are. But they're opaque, you know? So yeah, as you can see right there. They are stains. Such pretty colors. Huge thank you to Pixi for sending those over as well. And that's everything for the haul today. I hope that you guys enjoyed it and found it helpful. Thank you for watching. Do not forget to wear sunscreen and I will see you guys later. Bye.